Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we will be talking about something called the number machine. Now, don't worry too much about what it's called. It may not be called the number machine in certain exams, but what we do need to understand are the maths rules that are involved in this type of question. So, before we look at the number machine, we need to understand what is meant by the inverse, opposite operations, okay? Inverse just means the opposite operation. And what that means is in maths, when we use a certain operation, for example, add, subtract, divide, and multiply, it has an inverse. Each one of those operations has an opposite. Okay, in other words, addition is the opposite to subtraction, and subtraction, therefore, is the opposite to addition. Multiply is the opposite to divide, divide is the opposite to multiply. Half is the opposite to double, double is the opposite to half, and square is the opposite to square root, and square root is the opposite to square. Okay, so we need to make sure we remember this, and we need to use this and apply it to the questions, the number machine questions that I'm about to show you. So on the screen, we have a number machine, and the way it works is a mystery number is entered into the machine here. And then it goes through all of these processes, all of these operations are happening to the number. And then it comes out and we've got a brand new number. And in this case, we've got the number 90. Okay, so mystery number, we multiply it by 3, we add 6, we add 20, we multiply it by 2, we subtract 10. Our answer, our new number out of the machine is 90. So we need to figure out, well, what number did we put into the machine for that to happen? And the way to do this, well, firstly, the way not to do this, and the way that some students have been doing this, that I've seen do this, is guess a number and adjust your number based on how close you are. So, for example, there have been students that will say a random number. For example, they might say 10, and then they would get that number 10, multiply it by 3, add 6, add 20 times 2, subtract 10. They'd get their answer, and then based on whether it was close or how close it was to the answer, they'd adjust the number and then they'd try again with a new number. That takes way too long. Okay, there's no guarantee you're going to get the answer, so don't use that method. It's a bad method. Okay, the best and pretty much only method we can use here is to get our new number 90 and put it back into the machine the other way. So we're going to get this number 90 and we're going to put it into the machine the other way. Okay, however, if it's going into the machine backwards, all of our operations have got to be done backwards, or the opposite. We have to do the inverse, okay? Let me show you what I mean. So we're going to start this side of the machine, 90, and put it in the machine and see what number pops up here. So we've got 90, subtract 10. We need to add 10. We need to do the inverse, the opposite. And we know the opposite of subtract is add. So 90, add 10 is 100. 100 then goes into this part of the machine and is multiplied by 2, but we must divide by 2. 100 divided by 2. We've got to do the opposite, which is 50. Okay, I'm going to write 50 here so I don't forget. And then 50 goes into the next part of the machine. We add 20, but we don't, do we? We subtract 20. We've got to do the opposite. So 50 subtract 20 is 30. And then 30 continues going through the machine. We subtract 6 from 30, so we're at 24. All right, 24 goes through the machine. It lands here. We divide by 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So if we go back to the start of the machine, 8 must be the number that we put into the machine. And do you know what we should always do if we've got the time? Is we should check our answer by going back forwards through the machine with the number 8. Okay, so let's try that. So if we assume this is number 8, 8 times 3 is 24, 24 plus 6 is 30, 30 and 20 is 50, 50 times 2 is 100, 100 subtract 10 is 90. It's correct. Okay, so this is the best and only method. Remember what I said, please don't be guessing numbers and putting it through the machine and then changing your guess. It's never, unless you get incredibly lucky, it's not going to work out. All right, so let's try another one. All right, this one, you can see we've got the square it operation, okay, which we'll talk about when we get there. But remember, we're going to work backwards. So We need to figure out what number entered the machine here. So let's start backwards. We've got the number 0. 0. Add 10 is 10. Times 4 is 40. Subtract 10 is 30. Subtract 5 is 25. 25, the opposite of square is square root. So I need to find the square root of 25. Okay, to find the square root of 25, there are certain things we can do to find the square root. They're pretty complicated. But in the case like this, if we know that the number is 25 and we want to find the square root, it isn't so tricky for us to think of what number multiplied by itself equals 25. Because remember, that's what squaring is. So we need to think of what number multiplied by itself, the same number, equals 25. And you should know that 5 times 5 is 25. So the square root of 25 is 5. Excuse me. That means that 5 must have been the number that entered the machine. Let's check it out. Let's see if we're correct. So 5 starts here. 5 squared is 25. 25 plus 5 is 30. 30 plus 10 is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 10 subtract 10 is 0. We're correct. All right, one more. Of course, there is a worksheet in the description of this video, but there's one more. But this time, I'd like you to pause the video and give it a go yourself and see if you're correct. So pause the video now and have a go. All right, so let's work backwards. We've got 1,000. We need to subtract 100, which is 900. 900 divided by 3 is 300. 300 subtract 200 is 100. 100 add 20 is 120. 120 divided by 10 is 12. So this number, the number that enters the machine must be 12. Let's check it. So 12 times 10 is 120, minus 20 is 100, 100 plus 200 is 300, 300 times 3 is 900, 900 plus 100 is 1,000. I'm correct. Now, remember, when you get to a tricky question, a tricky part of the machine, so for example, if you find it tricky to do 900 divided by 3, which is what you need to do from here to here, that's part of the problem. Take some time to work it out. Okay, so go next to the question over here and do your working out. Okay, don't try to be all quick. Don't try to be as quick as I'm being right now. If you're not confident with doing stuff in your head quickly, okay, you've got space to work these questions out. So make sure you do that if you need to do that. Okay, and also when it comes to checking your answer, be sure that you've got enough time to be checking your answers before checking it. Okay, sometimes we have to rely on our working out, and once you've worked it out, put your answer down, be confident that you're correct, and then move on to the next question and come back to it only if you've got enough time to check it. Okay, it's very important that we spend our time wisely. However, having said that, it doesn't take too long to check your answer to this sort of question. So it really is a judgment call based on what time you think you have. Okay. All right. So as I said, there is a worksheet in the description of this video based on the number machine. So have a go at that. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.